Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA and UFC news, Daniel Cormier responds to Sean O'Malley saying that he thinks DC wants him to lose. O'Malley recently said on his podcast that he and DC get along, but deep down he wants to see him lose. Here's Cormier on the most recent episode of the DC and RC show.
I don't care enough about Sean O'Malley to care if he wins or loses because, like you said, it doesn't really affect me. I like the kid. I think the kid's a fantastic little fighter. I think he's tough. But the reality is I got 8 championship belts at home. I got 8 championship belts at home, Ryan Clark. It's crazy when we mistake popularity for putting you on the level with someone else. The reality is I don't care if Sean wins or if he loses. I don't want to see a man lose. I think that he's good for the sport. I think him winning does things for the sport. So I just think that, but I do believe that he uses this to serve as a bit of motivation, right? Everybody always goes, you need haters in order to propel you forward. So I think he's trying to make me that. But the reality is I don't really care all that much because, again, I have so many championships at home. When the guys that should address me in that manner are the guys that have stood alongside me, that have done the things that I have done in the game, and that will be remembered forever because until Sean O'Malley starts to win some championships and get all the way to the top of the game, bro, popularity fades, right? Legacy lasts, and my legacy will stand the test of time. So, Sean, I don't dislike you. I do not want to see you lose because, frankly, I don't really care all that much. I do think you're good for the sport, and I actually like you. I'm actually trying to make this work for as much as I need to, when in reality, I really don't need to. So, I don't care if the kid loses.
Dana White is asked about who Nate Diaz will fight next, and he seems to be at odds over where to go with the last fight on Nate's contract. After the rumor that Nate could be facing Khamzat Chimaev, Dana actually says that the fight that makes sense is Nate against Jake Paul in a boxing match.
Listen, dealing with Nate is always, fun, exciting, interesting. So we'll see. I mean, listen, you don't have to be a rocket scientist looking and see lots of game playing and, whatever. Listen, contractually, we got to get him a fight. We'll get him a fight. I mean, I like Nate. Let's be honest. Nate's won one fight in the last 5 or 6 years. When these guys get into these positions, you got guys that have been with us for a long time that we respect, that we care about. You got the Cerrones and Anthony Pettis before he left, and you got Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz is still under contract with us. So you want to be fair to everybody. You want to do the right things, whatever. Nate Diaz isn't going to come in and fight Kamaru Usman or. Listen, we're trying to do the best we can. We're trying not to shit on anybody and disrespect anybody, but it's not like we're talking about Kamaru Usman here. We're talking about Nate Diaz. Nate's won one fight in 5 years. So we're trying to figure this thing out with him. He probably should go on and fight Jake Paul. That's a fight that makes sense.
Nate responded on Twitter recently saying, UFC release now, please, or give me fight with anyone in July or August. Shortly after Dana's interview, Nate tweeted, send the release. Do you think Nate will be allowed to move over to boxing while still under contract, or will the UFC release him? Alex Pereira versus Sean Strickland is slated for Saturday, July 2nd at UFC 276. Pereira is most known in his career for having a kickboxing KO victory against Isreal Adesanya. Because of Pereira's wins so far in the UFC, along with fighting top contender Sean Strickland, will put him in line for a title shot and a rematch with the middleweight champ Adesanya. Pereira recently spoke to MMA Junkie and gave his thoughts on the fight and his future in the UFC. Whoever wins this fight will get whoever is the champion next. And it's great because I have a clear path ahead for me. I already know what will be next, and that makes me very excited. I think Adesanya is the favorite, but everything can happen in a fight. If he makes a mistake, he can get caught and be knocked out. I can't see him losing by decision, but I think Cannonier has a real chance of knocking him out or submitting, more likely knocking him out. But I believe Adesanya is the favorite, so in the end it doesn't matter to me who wins that fight. My goal is the belt. So good fight for them. I'm very confident I'll be the challenger of the winner next. We'll see. There's an interest of getting me to fight for the title, especially if Adesanya is the champion. Everyone has been talking about it. But to me, no matter who is there, I want to be the champion. But the UFC thinking like this is all good with me. Adesanya responded to Pereira's comment at the pre-fight press conference in Sydney. This isn't kickboxing, this is mixed martial arts. These ain't big pillow gloves, these are 4 ounces. That I can't wait to drive through his face after I go through Jared Cannonier. When asked who will win between Strickland and Pereira, Stylebender said, I look forward to either one of those fights. I don't like this narrative of it's too quick for Pereira. Look at Yuri Prochazka, just fought for and won the belt in his 3rd fight in the UFC. Anderson Silva did it in his 2nd fight, so that's fine, he's new to MMA. I've been in the game a long time, and this TikTok generation has a knockout, but they don't watch the first fight or the 2nd fight before the finish. Matt Serra recently commented on DC's post-fight altercation with Phil Hawes, who tried to mouth off to Cormier after his win against the teammate of DC's.
Phil Hawes looked so devastating in that fight. Again, even though Herb stepped in and just kind of protected Duran Win, he had said after the DC as it was walking up, and I think there might have been a commercial coming, you picked the wrong guy. Yeah, you. He was kind of confrontational with DC. And DC is just still, I think for a second he forgot that this was the former heavyweight champion and the former light heavyweight champion. And DC immediately became a cage DC and said, I don't pick fights. Be respectful.
Put his hand out like this. Put his hand out at him.
Like,
almost
yeah.
like using the force. Like,
and I think Phil immediately realized this may have been an error.
Yeah, this is the thing with DC. He's a guy that when I see him, he's like affable. You want to hug him. Nice guy, teddy bear. He's always joking around with Habib. It's fun. Yeah. He's a fun guy. But listen, that guy's if you're gonna disrespect him, it doesn't. And no what it shows you, just shows you that it's who he is. Like if you've seen him also with Jake Paul, he's seen him. He grabbed him by the neck. Hey, look, dude, don't be. He went in his face and he told him, dude, don't be calling me out. Don't be saying to me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you know what he used to do for a living at the highest level, at the highest weight. Yeah. So what are you doing? And I think Phil caught it. Listen, I think Phil was hurt. If I heard some of his post-fight press conference, and he was saying how he he kind of looks up to DC and he was hurt. He was kind of like, I think he was hurt that DC was I don't know, not that he was backing up his boy, but I don't know, he felt that he was getting counted out. But it's interesting when you heard DC talk to him. He's like, look, you see what happened. I was trying to avoid this fight. He actually said something like that to him. So it's wild.
Ray Longo says he felt that Kattar won against Josh Emmett and that he didn't see any clean shots that Emmett landed.
Kattar won. I'll tell you what I saw, and I'll tell you why I think he won. But there were a couple of things I didn't like. But I saw a guy with perfect use of the jab. I thought he controlled the whole fight with the jab. Every so often he put in the elbows and the right hands. And I saw another guy exploding, and Kattar looked like he was covering every punch, but getting pushed back a little bit from the force of it because the guy's explosive, but nothing cleanly hitting at all. And that's the way I would have scored the fight. I had the fight going to Kattar, but, I think he could have did more. That's the problem. But I thought he just controlled that fight with the jab for the most part and was never in trouble. Not that the other guy was either, but I just thought he landed the cleanest shots. I don't know. Is it me? I mean, I didn't. That was But I was already crazy by the time that fight happened because so many crazy knockouts and stuff. But that's the way I saw it.
Longo is 88 years old and he's still sharp as a tack. It's unbelievable. Yeah. No, listen, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing at that, Kenny. But
no, listen. No, Ray is spot on. That's the way I saw it. And that's the thing. If you're watching a fight live, you can't see all the angles. And I would think that if you're seeing, Kattar get backed up by a shot, and if you don't have the right angle, you don't have the luxury of seeing it on the monitor, you think he's getting tagged with these shots and getting
definitely
backed up.
Wasn't.
And Ray is absolutely correct. Those shots are skimming off the elbow, the arms, the top of the head. I didn't see them landing clean. It looks impressive because Emmett is so damn fast and powerful. I don't want
Right.
to take that away from him.
100%.
And some of those shots were landing, but not a lot of those shots. And I think that was the difference. And I think the judges were coming away with thinking that he was landing a lot of those shots when he just wasn't. It was a close fight.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I had a problem with it as well. I thought Kattar won.
And I don't want to take away from Emmett. You know, he fought great too. I mean, it was a good fight. That's the way I saw it. And look, I've been in there with bigger guys that you kind of get. It's not a snapping punch. You get pushed, like, you know what I mean, and you lose your balance a little bit, but never nothing that changed the dynamic of the fight. Unless Kattar was holding back because, you know, he didn't want to get hit clean with any of those shots. But I thought Kattar was a little off based on what I heard in the corner. But I thought he won that fight. And again, it's exactly for what I said. I thought he controlled that whole fight with the jab. The guy couldn't get out of the way of that jab. He was busting him up, and the elbows were landing. A couple of those right hands were clean. Tell me what shot Emmett landed clean.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to MMA Library for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.